Okay. Aardvarks, anthills, Antarctica. Obviously, they go together. Yeah, you go to Antarctica, you get run over by ants unless the aardvarks are taken care of, right? Okay? Maybe there's something wrong with that. I haven't been to Antarctica, but it sounds like a wonderful place to sunbathe and so. Okay, when there are $48,000 anthills in Antarctica, the aardvark population is 2,800. Everybody knows that. You learned that in grade school. Okay, but things have changed since then. Okay? We did a recent survey, and this climate's getting warmer. Antarctica's melting, and that's going to be inconvenient. We've got to figure out what to do about that. But build big seawalls, 100 feet high, and it's going to collapse.
I'll be right back. Yeah, no problem.
Probably don't need them that high right now. 10 feet would be good. Okay. Anyhow, 4,800 anthills. Population's 2,800, right? Recent survey shows well, there are 84,000 anthills. The aardvark population has gone up
Well, I guess it wasn't you.
by, well, it's 6,400.
I'll have to stop
Okay.
by on Tuesday. Yeah, that's what time I'm. Okay, thanks. Nice meeting you.
So we have a couple of questions. If the aardvark population is a linear function, the number of anthills what is that function? Now, the method I'm going to give you here is very simple, and what you're going to do anytime you have a linear model like this, because you're going to have 8 linear models to do on your homework this weekend, and you do them all the same way. Okay? It's very simple. You let y equal the number of aardvarks and x equal the number of anthills. Now, anybody got any good ideas about how you might now use your information? There are actually 2 alternatives, but the one I want you to use is the graphical one. So we're going to make a graph. Now, what do you think? Okay, if we've got a graph, we're going to have axes, right? Now, what do you think this axis ought to be?
Anthills.
Yeah, it's usually x, right? And this is usually y, so, we've set it up with x and y. We could let this one be A, and this one be A for anthills and A for aardvarks. That would be confusing. We'd have same letter for both. Maybe a lowercase for one, uppercase for the other, but then you'd be accused of being unkind to whichever one used the lowercase on it. You know, do you not like ants or do you not like aardvarks? Yeah, and you'd end up in court. And so, you know, you're going to have X here and you're going to have Y here, right? Okay? And then what are you going to do?
Gotta plot the points.
You got to plot points. What are the coordinates of one point that you would want to plot?
The first one with the 48,000 anthills with 2,800 aardvarks.
Yeah, the 48,000 for the X and the 2,800 for the Y, right? First we've got to get a scale. This goes up to 84,000, right? So 8 is an easy number. So I'll just put 80,000 here so I can cut that down to 40. I'll use 40K for 40,000, 20K for 20,000, 60K for 60,000, okay? And 84,000 is just going to be a little past 80,000. So that's anthills, and aardvarks go up to 6,400. So conveniently, I can do 8,000 up here, and I can do 4,000 down here, and 2,000, and 6,000. Okay? And then if I need to, I can subdivide these into 10,000 and 1,000. So now 48,000 is here, and 2,800 would be about here, so that would give me a point about here. Okay, then 84,000, a little to the right of 80,000, 6,400 would be about here, 84,000 would be about here, so I'm going to say, let's see, that was, okay, so there are 2 points, right? Now, it's important that I said aardvark population is linear, right? Which means what?
Straight line.
Means your graph is a straight line, right? It's important to understand that. So now we can sketch a straight line through the points and get its equation, right? Then I can ask you questions. Like, how many aardvarks are going to be in Antarctica if there are no anthills? Can you see from the graph approximately how many aardvarks there would be if there were no anthills? How many would it be? Just give me a ballpark number. Well, if there are no anthills, that means X is 0, and you have a negative number of aardvarks. So you got a bunch of anti-aardvarks running around Antarctica. Anti-aardvarks in Antarctica,
Negative 2,000.
you know, if it's antimatter, we're in trouble. You know, go blow up the planet. That many anti-aardvarks, you know, each one of them would be equivalent of a 100 megaton bomb or something. Okay? Or a big old asteroid. Okay? So, we could answer the question, but it wouldn't make sense. Obviously, if there are no anthills, there are no aardvarks. Because the only thing aardvarks eat is ants, I think. Okay, so how many anthills does it take before you start having aardvarks pop up? Well, aardvarks comes up above 0 at a little over 20,000 anthills, according to this straight line, right? Now, that's just a hand-sketched line. I don't really believe it, but it's going to be fairly close, okay? How many anthills would you need to support 10,000 aardvarks? We'd have to go up to 10,000 here and over here and see how many anthills, over 100,000, okay? Make sense? Now, you can write the equation, right? Did you know how to do that? You got 2 points, you do your fundamental triangle, and then you do another fundamental triangle, set the slopes equal, and you have the equation, right? You got to remember how to do that because you're going to be asked, so you might as well review it now. Okay? Well, we don't have time to do it because we're out of time, but that's how you solve all these problems, okay? You take it, you put it on a graph, you find the equation, you do some estimates to make sure your answers are right, but then you answer the questions with the equation, okay?